Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to a live edition of Fire Your MD Now, a.k.a. the Dr. Glidden Show. I'm waiting for the phone logs to populate on my computer screen. We're going to go right to the calls in the very first segment here, as I promised I would yesterday. While I'm waiting for my studio guys to get that together, I want to talk about the Angelina Jolie effect. The Angelina Jolie effect. The BRCA testing doubles. Twice as many women were tested for BRCA1 and 2 mutations in a North American clinic in the 6 months after the revelation by actress Angelina Jolie that she had undergone a prophylactic mastectomy after finding out she was a carrier of the mutated gene. Importantly, the increase in genetic testing was appropriate, as the proportion of women found to be carriers remained constant, the researchers note. The findings illustrate the profound impact that prominent figures like Jolie can have on public awareness of health issues. Increasing testing, this article, by the way, is from Medscape Medical News, written by Zosia Chusteka. Chusteka, there's a name, Zosia Chusteka, September 3rd, 2014. Jolie's announcement in an article entitled My Medical Choice, published on May 14th in the New York Times, was extensively reported across all media, and at the time several breast cancer experts predicted that the huge publicity would lead to an upsurge in genetic testing for the BRCA1 and 2 mutations. People in the community who see high-risk breast cancer have been very aware of what has been dubbed the Angelina Jolie effect, this phenomenon of more women and their families seeking out genetic testing. What is interesting about this study, he said, is not just that the authors were able to document the increase in genetic testing, but they also show that it is the right people that should be seeking out genetic testing. I'm not exactly sure what that means. The key point here is that the same percentages of patients actually had the genetic mutation, and the same proportion met the criteria for testing in the periods before and after the news. These were not inappropriate people who had somehow been frightened or alarmed by the messages that came forward. Rather, because of the clinicians or their own awareness, these are perfectly appropriate individuals who should be getting genetic counseling. So this is interesting. So, again, this perpetuates the myth that it's the gene that's the thing. And this is a remarkable thing for me to kind of wrap my brain around, because it underlines in bold face the complete, on the one hand, the reality by consensus, herd mentality that the MDs generate, and on the second hand, their complete reluctance to overlook obvious facts, their complete reluctance to overlook obvious facts. It's as if the MDs actually believed that the cause for heartburn was stomach acid, and that the way to get rid of heartburn was to get rid of stomach acid with proton pump inhibitors. Oh, I'm right. That's exactly what they do believe, and we all know that that's incorrect and that that's wrong. So the BRCA gene, the BRCA1 and the BRCA2 genes are normal genes which are found in everybody. And the function of the BRCA1 and 2 gene is to repair mutations in chromosomes. That's the function of the gene. It repairs mutations in chromosomes. So we know that your genetic material has the ability to repair itself. We know that it does. That's what the BRCA1 and 2 gene do in their healthy state. The BRCA1 and 2 genes which become mutated, which themselves become mutated, if the mutated aspect or iteration of the gene is present in your body, then you are at a high risk for breast cancer. But medical science doesn't ask themselves, well, what can fix the mutation and what causes the mutation to happen in the first place? They know that there are genes present, that there's material present in the body to fix mutations. It's the same gene that became mutated in the first place. So would it not be an appropriate question to ask, well, son of a gun, it's a mutation of a gene. We know that genes can fix mutations because this very gene itself in its unmutated state fixes gene mutations. So wouldn't it be more prudent, rather than giving all of this money to women for research, for men and women, to see whether or not they have the mutated gene in the first place, and then, cut their breasts off prophylactically, which is a big money generator, by the way. That's why they want to do it. Wouldn't it be better to research what causes the mutation to happen in the first place? I think that it would. But, stupid is as stupid does. And when people like Angelina Jolie get up and stand up in the public square and they agree to go the way of the herd, then the rest of the herd is going to follow them. She's like the alpha female that all the other females are going to follow. Oh, if it's good enough for Angelina Jolie, it's good enough for me. Well, apparently Angelina Jolie's IQ is less than optimal. I have no idea what her IQ is. I have no idea what her educational background is. But, even if she is a bright bulb, even if she is a bright bulb in the bunch, she was duped by the MDs into their methodology, which is inconsistent and incorrect, and she was completely unaware of the fact that there was a lawsuit against the Food and Drug Administration years ago, which allows us to say in the public forum the qualified health claim that supplementation with selenium reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. Supplementation with selenium reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. Now, we know by other published research that selenium deficiencies are directly related to a mutation in a gene which causes cystic fibrosis. We know that for a fact. That's an academic, unarguable fact, that a deficiency in selenium causes a mutation to a gene which allows for the exposition of cystic fibrosis. Cystic fibrosis is caused by a gene mutation, and the gene mutation is caused by a mineral deficiency, specifically a deficiency in the mineral of selenium. So we know that minerals are directly related specifically to gene mutations. We know that selenium supplementation to a healthy population reduces the occurrence of breast cancer by 82%. So don't you think it would be worthwhile looking at the relationship between selenium supplementation and the BRCA mutation? I think that it should. But conventional science is not going to do that. Conventional medicine is not going to do that because there's no money in curing cancer. There is money in genetic testing, and there is money in, double mastectomies, especially prophylactic mastectomies. It is a runaway juggernaut. It is a runaway scientific juggernaut of mediocre medical stupidity, which builds upon itself like a snowball rolling down a hill, Machiavellian, monopolistic, and completely lopsided in its understanding of the real genesis of chronic disease. And yet, because they own the show here, especially in the United States, people like Angelina Jolie, by hook or by crook, are going to be convinced by the all-knowing MD with the secret decoder ring to all things medical that, there's no reversing the BRCA mutation and that you've got it and you're going to get cancer, so just have your breast hacked off. This is the state of affairs that we have sunk into. And it's not a good state of affairs, and that's why we are here. All right. My soundboard is up. My call board is up. And I am looking for, was it Francis in North Carolina, who I told I'd pull right up at the first of the hour? Francis, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. I keep my promises. So bring me up to speed again with your condition. How can I help?
Okay. I explained that I have extreme numbness and pain in my feet. Goes up my legs to my knees and in my thigh area, the front of my legs mostly, and my legs are just weak and this has been getting progressive to the point where I need a walker just to go from one room to the other. This same numbness is in my fingers, in my hands, and it just seems like it moves around, because week before last it was really in my arms.
Excuse me.
My equilibrium is off and has been for some time.
Well, has anybody diagnosed this? Has anyone ever, done a series of tests and said, yeah, you've got fibromyalgia, you have, peripheral neuropathy, you have type 2 diabetes, you have degenerative disc disease? Has anybody dialed it in yet?
I was told February 1 of 2007 that I was a type 2 diabetic. I took medication for a very brief period of time, probably wasn't even 6 months. And I just phoned my doctor's office this morning trying to be ready for this phone call. And I received a letter from my doctor. It was either last year before last, I can't remember now, indicating that I was no longer diabetic, because I really went on a campaign to figure out how I could reverse this, because I just thought it was nonsense to every 3 months go to a doctor for him to prick me in my finger and charge me whatever for what I knew, at the house, in the morning.
So you were told you had type 2 diabetes, and you figured out on your own how to optimize your blood sugar. You optimized your blood sugar by changing your diet, and then you got a letter from your doctor that said you don't have type 2 diabetes anymore.
Yes,
But you still have this ascending, migrating pain in the body that nobody has been able to get a handle on, right?
And that's what was so shocking to me, because I didn't have any of that numbness and pain, while I was under the mantle of saying I had diabetes. Yeah,
it's fascinating stuff. Stick around, Francis. It's a hard break. I'm going to dial this in for you when we come back. I appreciate the call back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Welcome aboard. This is Fire Your MD Now. Remember, if you like what you're hearing and you want to learn more, please listen to the commercial breaks on your terrestrial radio station and give the number that your radio station gives out during the commercial breaks. Give that number a call. There are people in your county standing by to take your phone call and to show you the ropes, as it were, with longevity, and show you how you best fit. As a customer, as an associate, whatever. There's two ways to work with us. You can work with us as a customer, have access to the best nutritional supplements, in my opinion, that currently exist anywhere in the world. Science-based, clinically verified, health recovery protocols developed and delivered by licensed physicians trained in naturopathic medicine. It doesn't get any better than that. Clinically tested, proven to be effective. Doesn't get any better than that. You can have access to this stuff at the wholesale price. No copay, no doctor's visit necessary. This is boilerplate. Foundation Medical Nutrition for the masses. And we are here to serve. And if you're also suffering with a wealth issue, with a money issue, if there's too much rent left at the end of the month, too much mortgage left at the end of the month, then you need financial assistance, and we can help you there as well. The Longevity has currently produced over 250, I believe, for honesty's sake, let's say over 200 multi-million-dollar earners, people who have made multiples of millions of dollars by helping people in their communities recover their health. And that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Give the number that your radio station delivers during commercial breaks a call and find out how you can work with us. Let's go back to Francis in North Carolina. Okay, Francis, so how long have you been suffering with this neuropathy-like condition, for lack of a better word?
I would say since middle of 2011. It got to the point where it was so bad, I also experienced this thing I had never heard of called foot drop or drop foot.
Oh, you had drop foot too?
Yeah.
All at the same time?
This was in 2011. This is when this neuropathy thing, really kicked in. So,
well, one of the things that can lead to foot drop, and which is often overlooked, believe it or not, and it's kind of a long shot, but I'm going to mention it anyway, just for the listening audience, is lead toxicity, lead exposure. So were you working in a chemical production plant, or were you around chemical solvents, or did you just move into a new place and there was lead paint or anything like that?
No, as a matter of fact, I was out of the country. I worked on Guam for 3 years. My contract,
for the military?
No. I worked there for the Bank of Guam.
Well, that's interesting.
And,
well, that's very interesting.
But the whole time I was on Guam, my equilibrium was absolutely upside down.
Yeah.
The whole time I was there.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. So anyway, all right. So here's what we do, right? So just to kind of bring this all into perspective here. There's only a handful of things that can be causing these conditions. There's only a handful of things that can be causing these conditions, and the MDs are obviously clueless about it. Everybody kind of thought that this was...
over 30 doctors, and no one has told me anything. I had to go as far away as the Philippines because there was no rheumatologist on Guam. I did receive a diagnosis in 2010, and when I came back to the States, I received what I call a confirmed diagnosis of the same thing in 2011. They told me lupus.
Lupus?
Yes. And then I had a doctor tell me last year that he didn't think that's what it was. So at this juncture, I don't know what's going on.
Well, I know what's going on, and we're going to get to the treatment possibilities here in a minute. But everybody's overlooking the 1 million-pound gorilla in the middle of the room. And the 1 million-pound gorilla in the middle of the room is, you're an educated woman. You're someone who has their head on their shoulders. And, it's not like you're dodging medical care. It's not like you're trying to work the system. It's not like you're trying to get under the radar and not have medical insurance and, game the system. Yeah, so you're just going about your life. You're doing everything that the society tells you to do. You've got the 9-to-5 job. You've got the medical insurance premiums. You start to get sick, you go to the doctor. And then the doctor lets you down. And then 30 other doctors let you down. And that is a big, bad voodoo daddy. Apparently, we're up against another time clock here. I'm not exactly why that's happening. Stick around, folks. More to come. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I had the wrong time clock running in the last segment. That's why I got caught off guard a little bit. Let's finish this up with Frances and get her on the straight and narrow. All right, so Frances, here's the deal. You went to see all these doctors, figure out how much money you've been paying in medical insurance premiums your entire life by playing by the rules just to gain access to the expertise of these people when what hits the fan, what did hit the fan. You have strong and persistent neurological symptoms, and nobody has a freaking clue of what's causing it. Nobody really cares. All of that hard-earned money down the drain. And that's exactly the way that it is for everybody in this country now, because now it's a law that you have to buy medical insurance. You have to. And your medical insurance isn't going to give you access to me or homeopathy or acupuncture or traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurveda or colonics or chiropractic. It's going to give you access to MD, mediocre, Machiavellian, monopolistic medical insanity, which does not work. And that's just the biggest freaking problem we have in the country. The medical system here does not need to be tweaked, upregulated, massaged, or, fixed, micromanaged. It needs to be abandoned because it does not work. It doesn't work. MD-directed medical treatments for chronic diseases do not work, and you are, in fact, the poster child for that. And you know what happens with people like you, Francis? After a while, if you keep going back to these people and they're unable to help you, rather than turn the mirror on themselves, they will write in your chart that you're a psychological case, that you're making up all this stuff in your head because they've done all these tests and they can't find anything. So because they can't find anything, it must be your problem. You must be making all this stuff up in your head, and that's what they do. And that's one more reason to topple the pedestal that they're on, bring everybody to an equal footing. For goodness sake, fire your medical doctor now.
One of the neurologists I saw, I literally have this thing in my right foot, in my toes. It almost looks like I'm tapping out, the battle hymn of the Republic. My toes do this, moving thing.
Yeah.
And he literally said to me, he said, "Are you doing that?" And I almost could have slapped him and said, why would anyone just sit and do that with their feet? And after testing me, with the thing where they measure, loss of nerve or whatever it is, they poke you all over the place. The only thing that doctor told me was, don't cross my legs.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. And, there's no other industry that, you could get away with that type of behavior. There's no other industry.
And this is while I'm in the middle of this pain and loss, yeah, and the foot drop. Or drop foot, whichever way that goes.
It's crazy. I mean, it's just crazy. And, you got to think that after a while there's going to come a breaking point where it's going to be the 100th monkey thing, and there's going to be enough people in this country who just reach the boiling point and say, you know what, you guys stink at what you do. We're marching on Washington, D.C. We're not going to elect a senator. We're not going to elect a congressman. We're not going to elect the president unless you have a free medical market in the United States and everybody's let on to the ship and we have equal access to all licensed and regulated medical professionals. The Food and Drug Administration is kicked out. The pharmaceutical industry are regulated. And, you think that's going to happen in our lifetime? I don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime.
Yeah, and then the other part is I had to go for 6 months with no insurance coverage at all in order to get on this government insurance. Pardon me. And I had it for 6 months, and my premium went up to $525 per month for one person. And so, therefore, after that, I had no insurance because I couldn't afford it.
Well, it's crazy, but this is what happens when there's a monopoly in place and you can do whatever you want. The medical profession, I always say this, the MDs are good if you have a bullet in your arm, if you have a broken leg, if you have a bleeding artery. They're good for trauma care. They're good for, surgery when surgery is necessary, and we don't want to take that away from them. Thank God for morphine and thank God for Novocaine. But for stuff that most people go to the doctor for most of the time, stuff like you're suffering from, they're completely clueless, and their therapeutics are ineffective. And even if their therapeutics are effective, the therapeutics that they deliver don't cure anything. They just manage the problem, and then eventually it gets worse. You need another drug or 2 or 3, and then you get worse, and then, they cut your feet off, and then they cut your legs off, and then they cut your arms off, and then they give you a fake heart, and then they give you, it's just nonsense. But this is what passes for the best medicine in the world, and you have to wonder what it's going to take for people in this country to wake up and just say, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm not going to take it anymore. You are fired. So, look, here's the deal. Regardless of what your diagnosis is, you need neurological support. Regardless of what really is the diagnostic thing, what really is going on here in your body, you need to increase your consumption of foods that are high in antioxidants because antioxidants prevent inflammation, and really inflammation is at the root cause of the genesis of most chronic diseases, especially if there's a neurological component involved. So we have to be rational, we have to be sane, and we have to lean on the fundamental proposition that the human body knows how to fix itself. The human body wants to fix itself. The human body is endowed with a God-given ability to fix itself. And so it becomes the prudent, sophisticated, effective physician's job to provide the patient with therapeutics which support and promote the body's ability to optimize its structure and function. And that's what we are about to do here. So, number one, you must, if you haven't, and forgive me if any of this is redundant, okay?
No.
Okay, all right, good. So there are 10 foods you need to stop eating. Are you aware of that list?
I've done that.
You've done that. Good girl. All right, so number one, you need to maintain that discipline no matter what. Come hell or high water, you need to stop eating the 10 bad foods, especially fried food. I don't even want you to be downwind of fried food. Fried food would be like, the voodoo curse for you.
Haven't had a French fry. No.
Okay, good girl. Number two, when you do eat food, you need to lean on foods which are high cholesterol donors. So full-fat milk, full-fat yogurt, full-fat cheese, butter, chicken with the skin, turkey with the skin, duck with the skin, steak cooked rare, hamburger cooked rare. Anything high in cholesterol you want to go for. I want you to become the cholesterol queen of North Carolina. Just go crazy for cholesterol. And don't worry, there's no relationship between high cholesterol and heart disease. It does not exist. 75% of your central nervous system is made from cholesterol. So if you had a broken bone, it would be prudent to eat foods that are high in calcium or to take calcium supplements and mineral supplements into your body, because guess what? That's what the bones are made from. Well, that's a good idea. Well, when we have a neurological problem, it's a good idea to feed the body the stuff that the nerves are made from, and that is cholesterol. As far as I'm concerned, it would be impossible for you to eat too much cholesterol. As a matter of fact, Harvard University agrees with us on this, and their recommendations for people with Parkinson's disease are a diet that is 80% fat. 80% fat. Imagine that. So go crazy for cholesterol. Go crazy for cholesterol. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Go crazy for cholesterol. Now, what's your current body weight, Frances?
164.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, so is that a good weight for you, or you need to drop like 20 pounds? What do you think?
I could use 20 pounds off, yes.
Okay, well, the reason that people gain weight is because their bodies are nutritionally deficient. And when your body is nutritionally deficient, your body knows that it is nutritionally deficient. And so your brain sends a signal to your body mind to eat more, because the body knows it's deficient, and the body is attempting to fill up its nutritional tank by having you import more nutrients into the body. But the food that we're eating is nutritionally deficient. And so we eat and we eat and we eat, and the food that we're eating is nutritionally deficient, so the nutritional tank remains empty. So we'll go to Olive Garden, eat a couple of thousand, calories, and 3 hours later we're hungry again. Why? Because the body is still nutritionally deficient. So I don't care if you're 5 pounds overweight or 500 pounds overweight, your body is nutritionally deficient. This is at the fundamental root cause. There are other things that contribute to weight gain, but we have to address the nutritional situation first and foremost, or we're spitting into the wind.
And you're also indicating that I should be gluten-free?
Yeah, so gluten-free, if you're eliminating the 10 bad foods, you're automatically gluten-free.
Okay.
Because wheat, barley, rye, and oats, which are the grains which contain gluten, are the first 4 of the 10 bad foods.
Well, in the little township where I live, it's very difficult to eat gluten-free because...
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. As God is my witness, Frances, it seems like it is. But if I showed up at your house and I put a sensor around your neck, and I showed you a briefcase filled with $1 million in gold doubloons, right? Non-taxable item, gold doubloons, $1 million, gold doubloons. And I said, Frances, I'm going to give you all of this money, $1 million in gold in 4 weeks if you can stop eating gluten, and I'm putting a little sensor around your neck to do it. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't eat gluten. You with me?
Well, I've eliminated, but it's very, like the bread that I have. I mean, I wish that somebody could give some brand names of things that still taste like food and not just cardboard. I mean, I have some bread that all I'd like to do is, put it up on the wall and paint with it. It's nasty.
All right, so you need to use Facebook. You need to use, are you on Facebook at all?
No.
Well, you probably should consider it because there's a lot of support that's available online to help you figure out what are good gluten-free breads, what are good gluten-free recipes, what are good gluten-free breakfast ideas. I mean, it's a learning curve, right? You got to figure it out. You can either muddle through it on your own, or you can lean on the community here for support, and I would encourage you to get hooked up with Facebook and go to Wellness Warriors with a Z. .com. But you can do it. You can figure it out. We have to get to the supplements because we're running out of time. So at your body weight, in order to support and promote healthy neurological function, the recommendation would be per month, 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. One of those.
1 Healthy
Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid. 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals. 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, S-E-L-E-N like Nancy, I-U-M. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. And 2 bottles of EFA Plus. 2 bottles of EFA Plus. Edward Francis Albert Plus. EFA Plus. 2 of those a month, in addition to what you get in the Healthy Body Start Pack. Now, in addition to that, it would be prudent for you to secure the consumption of 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day. 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants a day. And again, you're going to have to figure out how to do that. I wrote a book about that. You can get that book for free by going to freedoctorbook.com. Freedoctorbook.com. Figure out how to get 100,000 ORAC points of antioxidants into your body. Follow this program for 4 weeks, Francis, and call me back. Stick around. Hey, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Check out the live stream, please, the Dr. Glidden Show.tv, the Dr. Glidden Show.tv. Connecticut is up next with Gerda. Hey, Gerda, thanks for the call. You are live. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm good. What's going on?
Okay, my name is Jordan from New Haven, Connecticut. I have a son. He is 15 now. He's autistic. He also has sickle cell. He used to go to pain crisis, full-bloom pain crisis, in a hospital for 7 to 10 days every 2 weeks. Yikes. So 2011, I decided, to try, and I didn't know much about going on natural, so I decided to try to go on natural. So I give him a laxative, and then I started giving him geritol, folic acid, multiple vitamin, and a dose of magnesium daily. So his health improved. So he still go to mild crisis for the last 2 years, but he have not been hospitalized.
Yeah, you got to love it. We have a lot of testimonials from people who are sickle cell adults as sickle cell. They get on board with our, blood support program, and they don't have any more crises anymore. And when, they do start to develop pain, it's like a 2 out of a 10 instead of a 10 out of a 10. Yes. And there's a lot that you can do to support and promote, healthy manufacture of red blood cells. Okay. You're really doing a good job there all by yourself. That was a really excellent program that you came up with all by yourself. I'm very impressed, quite frankly, by what you've done all on your own. But there's a way to kind of take this to the next level, and I would recommend that you do it. Okay, so the first thing, right, what we talk about here with everybody all of the time, it's a 2-step program. Well, actually, when you dial it down, it's a 3-step program, but for you only need to do 2 of those steps for your son. Okay. The first step is there are 10 foods that he needs to stop eating. There are 10 foods that you need to stop eating. There are 10 foods that everybody on planet Earth needs to stop eating, and you can get that list for free on my website.
Okay.
All right, so go to Dr. Glidden, Glidden.com, DrGlidden.com, drglidden.com.
Okay.
And on the right-hand side of the screen, sign up for my newsletter. It's free.
Okay.
And when you sign up for the newsletter, we send you the list of the 10 bad foods, and I also send you a link to a video which explains why the foods are bad. Okay.
Okay.
So everybody in your world needs to stop eating these foods yesterday. That will go a long way towards helping to speed up the healing of the body. Now, how much does your son weigh?
He's probably weigh by 120 now.
Okay.
Because he got he's going to his growth spurt suddenly, he just like, awesome.
Oh, I know. It's crazy how they grow, right?
Yes, it's like 5'9". But when I started, 2011, he was only 60 pounds. And I'm like, I'm from the island. I said, I got to do something. I'm tired of going to the hospital.
Yeah, I know, the hospitals. Yeah, that's a dead-end street right there. So how did you hear about me anyway?
A friend of mine, Walter, he deal with 90.
Okay, so when I tell you what to do, you're going to have to get with Walter, and he'll tell you how to get the stuff and how to take it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here's what your son gets every month, and we're running out of time, so I'm going to have to be quick. So write quickly.
Okay.
All right. All right. Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 Liquid. It's called the Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 Liquid. He needs one of those.
Okay, 2.0 liquid, okay.
He needs 2 bottles of plant minerals. 2 bottles of plant minerals.
Plant
minerals. 3 bottles of selenium. 3 bottles of selenium.
Selenium. Okay.
1 bottle of glucogel at the 240 count. Actually, 2. Give him 2 bottles of glucogel at the 240 count. 2 glucogel at the 240 count. And last but not least, 1 bottle of Cal Toddy. CALTODDY. And the one right before that was GLUCOGEL. Dial that in for 90 days and call me back. I appreciate your trust. Stick around, folks. Hour 2. Before you know it, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden.